The night that I arrived back to Kiev, 3 people died and over 30 people were injured.
A city once again under attack. In the middle of the night, the sky above Kyiv lit up as Russian drones targeted homes, setting buildings ablaze and sending residents running for their lives. Authorities say a 19-year-old woman and her mother were among the dead, and dozens of people were injured. Ukraine's Air Force says Russia launched more than 100 drones overnight, most of them intercepted, but not all. 2 residential blocks took direct hits.
So it was an absolute shock to wake up to that in the morning, and a very stark reminder of what the reality is here, where on the surface it might look like everything is normal, like people are going about their day, businesses are open as usual, but under the constant potential threat of residential buildings being hit, energy facilities being struck, and power being lost, especially in the dead of winter. And it is very, very far from normal. So if you guys didn't know, I'm originally from Kiev. I was born here and lived here up until the age of 5 before my mom married my stepdad and we moved to Canada. But all this time I have always come back every year or two to visit my family who has been here the full time. And it's been really hard. It's been really hard to watch your family, but of course all Ukrainians go through this and feeling at a loss of what you can even do to help them. With the way news cycles work, it's very easy to just forget, about what's going on the other side of the world. And of course, I'm well aware there's so many other tragic wars, suffering, death of every kind going on all over the world. Being a Ukrainian, obviously, this is something very close to my heart. So I'm hoping that with these videos that I will be putting out in the next few weeks, it will give you guys some insight into what is currently happening on the ground.
Kiev today is a city that feels both peaceful and tense. A capital city living through war, yet refusing to stop. Almost 4 years now since Russia's full-scale invasion, the political and military situation remains volatile. Of course, most of the fighting is taking place on the front lines, which is more in the east and south of Ukraine. Russia has been using new glide bombs and drone attacks, while Ukraine works to defend key cities and maintain global support. Diplomatically, there is talk of possible ceasefires, but for now, nothing is certain. The US and Europe continue to back Ukraine, though patience and resources are being tested as this war drags on. But here on the ground in Kiev, life does go on. Cafes are full, people are going to work, children play outside, but beneath the surface, everyone is living with uncertainty. Nighttime air raid alerts sound several times a week, but more recently every single day. Energy prices go up, and rents have risen sharply. Yet what defines Kiev isn't fear, it's resilience. This city stands as a symbol of defiance and hope, proof that even in wartime, culture, creativity, and daily life continue to shine. It is without doubt that the war has upended livelihoods across Ukraine. Millions have lost stable work, and countless businesses, from factories to cafes, have been destroyed or displaced. Especially in Kiev, prices have climbed sharply. Rent and groceries now cost nearly as much as in parts of Western Europe, yet the average salary is still a fraction of that. Many young professionals work remotely for foreign companies or juggle several small jobs just to get by. At the same time, local businesses have adapted in creative ways. Bakeries run on generators during power cuts, market vendors use social media to reach customers, tech startups and digital freelancers, many of them working from basements during air raid alerts, continue to keep Ukraine's digital economy alive. But the human cost is clear. Many families are separated, millions displaced, and inflation makes saving or planning for the future nearly impossible. But even still, people keep pushing forward, finding small joys, building community, and holding on to a sense of normal life amid the chaos.
Now, another very stark reminder of just how many lives this horrible war has claimed can be found on the other side of Maidan Nezalezhnosti, the Independence Square that we are currently in. They have built this huge memorial, ever-expanding memorial to the defenders, to the soldiers of Ukraine who have given their lives in the fight for independence. And while it's very hard to know exact numbers, obviously, from what I could find online, it is now believed to be over 50,000 people. It is absolutely heartbreaking, especially considering the fact that so many of these people are so young. Like, looking at the photos and just imagining what kind of lives these people could have had absolutely breaks your heart. Now, another thing to be aware of is power outages here in the city and obviously all over Ukraine. Just in this week, like literally just in this week that I have been here, 5, out of the 7 days, we have had long periods without power. And that is because an energy facility within Kiev was hit. So our apartment building is currently on an energy conserving schedule where we do have electricity from like 8 a.m. to 11:30, and then it's fully off until 7 p.m. Now, sure, that might not be the biggest deal, especially if you are just going out to work most days. And of course, many businesses, government buildings, hospitals, they all have their own generators. So even if the power goes out, they are able to keep the absolute necessary things going. But what is far more difficult to deal with is the loss of heating. Right now, it's not too bad because it's like the beginning of November. It's like 5 to 15 degrees. So sure, even without heating, you can bundle up and, it's not the end of the world. But imagine in the dead of winter where it does get down to -10, -15 degrees here in Kiev. Imagine going half the day without heating. So it's absolutely crazy. It's just crazy everything that Ukrainians have been dealing with and how resilient they are to make the absolute best of the situation, no matter what it is.
Шановні клієнти, для вашої зручності працюють каси самообслуговування.
So this is a very real example of what it's like to grocery shop right now in Ukraine, where at any point in time the power might go out because just earlier this week Russia did hit Kiev's energy facilities. So our apartment has actually been rationing, how much power we use. So you actually get a notification of when the power will be on and when it will be off. Of course, it could just go out at any point in time, but usually they try and let you know if they're managing things. But yeah, I am currently here in Ashan, which is a really popular, grocery store. Power is halfways off. Obviously, they have their own generators for any kind of products that need refrigeration and just the bare minimum to kind of see around. But other than that, the lights are just off. always seem to be in a mall when things are going down. I mean, most likely things would be fine, you know, if I stayed. But there have actually been, you know, times in Ukraine during the war when malls were hit. So, you know, I think I probably should leave, and the metro station isn't too far from here, though it's above ground. Crap. I'm actually not sure where I'm gonna go. Well, it looks like people are kind of standing around outside, which I don't know. Are you safer outside? Are you safer inside? I don't really know. I feel like I should get somewhat underneath ground, and if I remember correctly, just up here there's like an underground walkway. So let's see if I can get there. Okay, good. There are some people who are actually taking cover. I think this is as good as it gets for now. But one thing that I've definitely noticed also in the week of being here is how immune, you know, people are to everything going on. Like, of course, the chances of a strike happening right on the place that you're in at the time that you're there, because Kiev has very good air defense, but still, like, there have been, I think, over a dozen people that have died in Kiev over the past, you know, few weeks, in this past month, let's say. There are so many different buildings that have been hit, but I think it just gets to a point that when it's happening every single day for, you know, 4 years almost, and like literally every single day that I've been here, there has been air raid alerts. This is already the second one today. I think you do get just a little bit, you know, whatever about things. I guess if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You kind of have to go on with your life, because at the end of the day, like, people have to put food on the table. They have other things going on in their lives. They can't actually stay up all night, you know, in the bomb shelters waiting until the air raid alert goes away. Like, they have to get up for work the next day. So it's a really crazy situation where, you know, I always think if there was an air raid alert that went off in like downtown Toronto, people would lose their minds, because obviously that has never really happened. But here, when it's been happening almost every day, it's crazy what a human can get used to. So sadly it went away, and now I don't have service for whatever reason, but I did get an all clear notification. Thankfully it didn't last that long at all. It was only about 20 minutes. So it is now safe to leave the walkway. I was actually at the dentist before I went to the mall, and the air raid alert happened. So I wonder, well, I assume
I assume we would have stopped the treatment, and I don't know, what would have been the closest bomb shelter or what the dentist would have suggested we do. But I guess, it was fine because we had that underground walkway here. But that's really something important to think about if you ever happen to find yourself in a war zone. Where do you go, if you're in the middle of the city or wherever you are, to take shelter, and especially if it's a place that you don't know super well. But yeah, guys, I think I'm actually gonna end the video here. I hope you found it insightful of just a sliver of what is currently going on here in Kiev. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As I've mentioned in my past videos, I will have a pinned comment with some great Ukrainian charities that I recommend donating to, so definitely check them out if you feel so inclined. And as always, I am sending you so much love. Keep being your own kind of beautiful. Bye, guys.